Hello everyone, I'm Krista West and this is a FlossTube for November of 2021. You'll notice that my lighting is a smidge off, and that's because I accidentally threw away the charger to my little light thing that goes on my laptop and I haven't yet replaced it. There's also a ton of plastic sheeting above my head right now. Do you guys want to see it? Okay, wow, let's see here. Oh, so much plastic, which is a little frustrating, but also super awesome because it means the plumbing is getting done in the bathroom right above my workshop. So we've been doing so much home reno work. I'll explain more later. But before I jump in, just to let you know, I'm Krista West of Avlea Folk Embroidery. I'm the designer and owner and the one-woman show here at Avlea. I make the designs, I kit the designs, I serge the fabric, I do all the things. Sometimes I do actually get my 11-year-old daughter to help. Oh, and one of her friends is making needle cards for us now, which is super helpful. So anyways, many of you are already familiar with my work, but I'll just kind of go over that. You can find all of my designs at the Avlea website, and that is www.avleaembroidery.com. You can also follow me on Instagram. It's actually at Krista M. West, Krista spelled with a K. I'll put all of this in the notes for the video too. As many of you know, I work as a specialty tailor for Greek Orthodox churches, and I do Avlea. So my Instagram is sort of a mashup of both, but mostly slanted towards embroidery. But when I'm working on a really cool brocade, then I will show you a really cool brocade, which I get to work on quite a bit. So anyways, in today's FlossTube, I just want to go over a bunch of stuff. Oh my word, so many things. As always, so many things. First off, I just wanted to give a big thank you to everyone. I hit 2,500 Instagram followers last night. It was very exciting. I just kind of did a little happy dance, very exciting. And so many of you are following me on YouTube now, and I really appreciate that. The amazing line drapery video is now over 60,000 views. Oh my gosh. Who knew? My just little off-the-cuff video, I just had my husband say, I just was like, hey, shoot the video. I'm going to make drapes. Like, let's throw this on the YouTube channel. And it is actually our most popular video, which is kind of exciting. And it's great. I get all these comments from people who are making drapes. Very exciting. So let's start with a little housekeeping, I think today would be good before we move on to designs and such like. So first off, most of you are aware of it, but Monday started the annual Avlea Thank You sale. Everything, and I mean everything at the Avlea website is 20% off with the code GRATITUDE, all in caps. Use that code GRATITUDE. I've got to get the banner up on the website. Hopefully today, I'll get to that. So how this started was last year, I was so excited to actually be like a sort of grown-up embroidery designer that I decided to do this sale because I felt like it was a way of thanking you guys for supporting my work all throughout the year and helping you guys stock up and maybe give stitching as Christmas gifts and all of these reasons. So this thank you sale is on, and it is everything: needle minders, hoops, download patterns. Now's the time to snag those download patterns, 20% off. Fabric. Traditional ground cloth is 20% off, which makes it a really good deal. I should mention though that even though it is only November 4th, I'm already starting to run out of some kits. So that really took me by surprise this year. I am actually packaging the last 8 kits I have of blue larkspur on the Swan Feather Legacy linen. Most of my other kits, I can like madly make up more kits because I have more fabric. But the blue larkspur is one that's going to basically not be available because I'm not using the legacy linen anymore. I've gone through all my stock. And the exciting news about that, which kind of does lead to another really fun, exciting thing, is I am working with an overseas factory on my first production run of linen that meets my standards. It will be a 30 count linen, hopefully available in 3 colors. I'm aiming for a white, for a nice warm white, and then something a little darker, more like an aged ivory. So it kind of cover most color palettes, the cooler color palettes, the in-between, and then the warmer color palettes. that real Mediterranean saturated terracottas, olive greens, that kind of a thing. But also like the whites will be great for red floss on white, that kind of Ukrainian Romanian look, and the blues and things like that, the cooler shades. So I'm still very much in the process of that, and I'm really excited about it. It's a very big thing for me. It's a pretty significant investment, but if I can pull it off, and if I get the samples actually this week, which I'm very excited about, and if it all works, it'll mean that I can start offering 30 count linen in kits at a much better price point, because I won't be dealing with a bunch of middlemen, and I won't be buying like wholesale from somebody who's already bought wholesale and have that really big markup. So I'm very excited that I would be able to start using 30 count linen, even like in my smaller kits and things like that, and really not have to change the price much, which would be fantastic. The reason I've decided to do a production run and work directly with the factory is because here at Avlea, my designs are really designed to be used. You know, a lot of my stuff is for table squares, table runners, cushion covers, little table mats, things like that. And those things are going to need to be washed periodically. And a lot of counted thread linen just isn't quite up to like regular hard home usage. You know, I don't want you to have to worry about, you know, your beautiful pillow that you made that like it's not gonna be able to go through the washing machine. So that's a lot of what's motivated me to seek out producing my own linen. So stay tuned. Believe me, there will be champagne bottle corks popping. There will be confetti. There will be all this stuff if I can pull this off. Let's hope. So anyways, next up on housekeeping. Oh, I wanted to thank everyone who sent me emails. Oh my word. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, I sent out an email explaining why I was no longer doing Facebook ads. And I had done Facebook ads at that point for about 4 months. And first off, they are crazy expensive. So it raises, if I continued having to do Facebook ads, it would have meant I would have to raise kit and pattern prices. And I'm just not really willing to do that, first off. And secondly, I was really concerned about the privacy issues and the things that were coming out in the media about Facebook and about how they operate. And I wasn't really comfortable doing business with a company like that, that was basically playing so fast and loose with people's privacy. And it just didn't feel like it aligned with the way that I want to live and the way that I want to do business. And at the end of the day, and what that means though, what that means for a company like mine, a very small starting off company like mine, is I am now entirely dependent on word of mouth advertising, with the exception of Fiber Talk. We sponsor a Fiber Talk show every other month. So that means that I have decided to trust you, the amazing stitching community, instead of a big corporation like Facebook. And I feel actually really good about that decision. It means that we'll most likely grow slower, but it'll be a more natural, more organic growth. I would far rather that someone talks to a friend or a family member and say, wow, I found this great embroidery website, and there's so many beautiful patterns and they're all historic and folk oriented and this sort of a thing, than that somebody basically gets an ad put in front of them because of an AI algorithm. So I'm trusting you, which I feel like is a really good decision. So I sent out an email about that, but what totally amazed me was how many of you responded. I got dozens of emails from you guys basically saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate this decision. So it just felt really great. You know, sometimes as a person who's like sitting over here making decisions, when people send you a nice email, oh my word, it really makes a difference in your day. This morning, I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed. I had a lot to do today, and we've got all this home renovation going on, which is definitely not lowering my stress level. But there in my in-basket, my email in-basket, was somebody who just left like a glowing YouTube comment. And it just really sets the tenor of the day. So to all of you people who like send out the nice emails to people, like, thank you, good on you, good job, because it does really influence somebody's day. And I just want to say thank you for that. And I just was so grateful to hear your support, that you all really supported me in this decision to not like seek out that kind of advertising. So anyways, so Avlea will grow the way she's meant to grow. So that's all great. And I feel really good about that. So next up on our housekeeping. Oh, wait, I think that's everything on housekeeping. We've covered the coupon code. Oh, one thing about the coupon code I meant to tell you all. Starting in January, probably December-ish, January, I'm going to have to start discontinuing some designs as kits. Things that have been out as a kit for a really long time, maybe don't sell as well as they used to, because I've got to make room for all the new stuff coming along. Now, every Avlea design will always be available as a download. I never delete a design from the website. Never, ever, ever. So you can still have access to that, because usually once I've done a design, it's a sort of thing where it has preserved a piece of folk embroidery that I want to stay preserved. It may just be that I don't have the space to store that many kits. And typically what happens is as kits get older, they've been out for a couple of years, people aren't buying those kits. So I think in December, watch for the email, and I'll probably send out an email of the kits that I will be discontinuing. And that way, you know, if it's something you've had your eye on and wanted to snag, then you know you can get that before it's gone. But there will be kind of a big cleaning out come January of older kits, things that I'm ready to like make space for the new things, because wow, new releases. So let's talk a little bit about new releases. So first off, this month in November, we just released 2. So the first one is Cypress Grove. Remember in the last FlossTube, I was like, where's the Cypress Grove? Where's this at? I had it sitting on my ironing board. It was literally like right in front of me. It was one of those things I couldn't even see it. But this is Cypress Grove. So I'm holding up the table runner so you can kind of get an idea of the size. This one is so amazing. This design is beautiful. Look at that with those little graduated cypress trees. I just fell in love with this cypress design. I thought this design was such a unique combination of very strong geometrics, like in the little squares, very, very strong geometrics. But then you have these just gorgeous, lovely, graceful cypress trees. I love this design. I thought the colorway was also really unique. I stayed fairly close to the original colorway in this one because I had never done, oh wait, one exception. Except for Bit Kit Roman Mosaic, I had never done an all green design or a green prominent design. And it actually was really funny. This month, actually, both the designs were green prominent. I'll talk about Olive Branch in just a second. But it's a beautiful design. The great thing about it, too, is that this border is pretty easy to repeat, this little outer edge border. So if you wanted a longer runner, you would just need a longer piece of fabric and then just work some more repeats of this. But then there you go. So it's very easy to make this longer or even shorter. But I just love this design. Cypress trees are a very common motif in historic folk embroidery. In the ancient Roman world, they were associated with death, but then with the Christianization of the Roman world, they became associated with resurrection and life. So of the afterworld, essentially. They are just a beautiful design. I have another design that I've literally had on the hopper for just ages and ages and ages. Cypress and Hollyhock, which I know I've shown it and I've talked about it. And I just have never gotten my act together to get that released. I need to go back and play around with the design and the colors a little bit more to get it just perfect. And then I'll be releasing that one too in 2022 because I just love these cypress trees. They're just such a beautiful motif. This is stitched on the traditional ground cloth, 26 count. The kit is available. The kit is $36, but with the 20% off coupon, it puts it down to like 28 bucks. Oh my gosh, people, what a steal. So that's this one that's new. The other design that I released this month is Olive Branch, and this is super exciting. This is one of the pomegranate collection patterns that graduated. So essentially, those of you who aren't familiar with the pomegranate collection, what that is when I'm designing, oh my word, so many designs, so much history, so many fabulous textiles. And sometimes I just can't choose which ones we're going to sample stitch. And some of them I'm not sure, like, would this be saleable? And some of them are just really too big, or there's something about them that I'm like, okay, I want them out there to the world. So what I do on those is I release them, and instead of, we don't have a stitch sample for them, not like this. So we just release them with the chart as the cover image on the pattern, and they're only $5 and they're only downloadable. We don't sell paper copies of those because that helps me. Basically, it's sort of like a little testing ground. I can kind of see which designs people like, which designs are seeming to be really popular, which ones people are emailing me and asking me about. And so that really helps. And olive branch has been super popular. I was so surprised because when I saw this one and wrote it up, I thought, I think it's going to be a sleeper. And wouldn't you know, tons of people downloaded olive branch. And one of the stitchers, oh my word, whose name completely escapes me at the present moment. It starts with a C. It's either Celeste or Cynthia. Now I cannot remember. Forgive me, my beautiful sample stitcher who did this. She turned it in and I hemmed it. And this is what it looks like. It looks so cool. This is a really, really neat design. So you can see it's super easy, very suitable for meditative stitching, and very easy to just repeat as many times as you want. So if you're looking for a runner that you want to make maybe a little bit bigger or longer, this would be a great design for that. If you're looking for something for, maybe you're feeling a little bit more on the beginner side of things, or you want something that's kind of like beautiful and brainless, you don't have to really follow the chart very much, this is a great design. And I just loved the fresh green colors. It was so pretty. And then I paired it for the photo, I paired it with green glass. And then some of these like little seed pods that I found near my house. If you are a fan of green glass items, Blanco glass, just that vintage pressed green glass, wow, this design sings with them. I had no less than 3 pieces of green glass, like when I was doing the photo shoot, and they all looked fabulous with it. So that's olive branch. And that's available as a kit. The kit is $28. And then with the discount is less. I think that's right. I think it's 28. I think it's 28. Oh, don't hold me to that. Look at the website. But it's a really good deal. A lot of beautiful stitching. And how many? Oh, you know what? Let's see. So this one has, oh, I forgot to put the total count of stitches on this one. But I want to say it's right around like 5,000 or 6,000 stitches. So really doable. Okay, so next up is me talking about releases, because you know, I feel like I've probably said this in 3 or 4 FlossTubes. Trying to choose what to release and when to release it is very challenging, because I wanted to stitch a design and get it out there and release it. But if I put out too many designs, it's a little overwhelming. But what happened is in the last 6 weeks, no less than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I had 6 sample pieces that I either finished up or I had my sample stitchers send to me. And it was funny because like I kind of been in this whole phase where for months and months, everybody was sample stitching and nothing was really getting turned in unless it was something that I stitched like up pretty quickly. But then everything came back like all within the same like 4-week period. So I've been madly drawn thread hemming and photographing and things like that. So I want to share some of that with you. Now, let's start with one that I've shown in another FlossTube, because I know, have I shown this in like the last 2 or 3 FlossTubes? This is out of Varian Star and Vine. I may rename it. It's from a Rhodian bed tent curtain. This is from the bed tent curtains that were very popular in Greek village homes in the 1700s and 1800s, probably going back even farther than that. And they are incredible motifs. The original motifs are typically stitched in red and green or some combination thereof. That to us feels a little Christmassy. So I changed up the colors to give it a little bit more modern look. And I am going to be finishing this as, this was not sample stitched by me. This was sample stitched by Tama Ida. Thank you, Tama Ida. And I am going to be using this to turn it into a wall hanging and do a wall hanging video. The reason it has taken me so long to get to this is, remember the plastic I just showed you? We are in the kind of the final stages of wrapping up most of the renovation on our 1923 home. And one of the huge projects was completely gutting the main floor bath. And it needed everything. The only thing that stays is the 100-year-old tub, which is actually a super cool tub. It's got this curved edge. I'll do a video or something on Instagram when it's all done. The tiling work was just done, but we have 100-year-old plumbing. And the pipes for it sit right over my desk. Well, they did. And then I had to like move my desk because I lost one laptop to the faulty plumbing. And so it's been this kind of ongoing issue, but it's getting taken care of. But I was all set to start doing the video last week, and then the workmen were here and they were making a hellacious amount of noise, which is good. Noise is progress. I'm all good for that. But it meant I couldn't do the videos. And then we're still waiting for all the windows to be installed. So that's going to be more noise. So I'm having to kind of work around all this construction noise in the background for doing videos. So it's been a little bit more challenging. It's why I haven't really released very many how-to videos over the last month or two, because we've been in the middle of all of this. When it's done, though, it's going to look fabulous. The floor is in, and it's penny tile with gray grout, like darker gray grout, very 1920s. And then around the tub, the backsplash around the tub is an arabesque design, also known as an odalisque. Sometimes it's known as an odalisque, sometimes as an arabesque. But it's a traditional tile shape from the 1920s. So very exciting. I'll share that later. But that means that's that very long story of why I haven't gotten to releasing this. And I've been in two minds. I've had a hard time moving forward with finishing this piece because part of me wants to just go ahead and frame it, and part of me wants to make it as a wall hanging, and I'm feeling very conflicted. But I decided this morning, I bit the bullet, and I'm like, okay, we're doing it as a wall hanging. Because the funny thing is in Greek homes, embroideries are rarely displayed in frames. In Greek homes, embroideries are displayed on tables or on as pillows or cushion covers, or if they are displayed on walls, they're almost always done as wall hangings, where there's like no glass or anything between the textile, which is really cool because you get that whole kind of immediacy and texture of the textile. You can see that because it's not being sort of blocked by the glass. So wall hangings are kind of a big deal in Greek homes. A lot of people have them, like right by the front door or different places. So I think we're going to do that as a wall hanging. Plus, it'll be fun. I've got all the supplies to be able to offer a wall hanging like upgrade to the kit for those of you who want to do it. I sourced some really awesome paisley cotton for the backing, and I've got these neat little tapestry rods, so it'll all work out great. Now, moving along, next releases. Okay, let's see if I can go here. Whoop. This one was just finished by Maria. I'm very excited. This is our Pasca Basket 2022 design. So this is going to release in December so that those of you who want to give it as a Christmas gift, or those of you who want to get a jump start on embroidering it, you can have early access to it. It is a beautiful design. Look at that cross. Isn't that incredible? So it's almost like a cross that has these serrated flowers. Beautiful back stitching work in it. I'm going to get a little closer and show you the border. The border has got these beautiful little Greek crosses alternating with almost like an 8-pointed star design. Great border. Just really, really fabulous. I adapted this actually from a small snippet of a Latvian design that I found in one of my vintage needlework booklets that are in my own personal collection. And the Pasca Basket covers, to explain those for people who are not Greek Orthodox or Russian Orthodox, what a Pasca Basket cover is okay, for Greek Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, Romanian Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox is kind of the overarching term. People in the Eastern Orthodox faith, for Lent, we abstain from all meat and dairy for the entire 40 days of Lent. It ends up being by 6 or 7 weeks. 40 days of Lent plus Holy Week. So we go without all meat, all dairy. And if you've never done that, it's a bit of an adjustment. And so I'll tell you, the first year that I did it, long time ago, when I was in my very early 20s, I will never forget what butter tasted like after you haven't had it for 2 months. It's incredible. So we fast from all these foods. We eat a lot of lentils and a lot of rice and a lot of vegetables. And then for the resurrection service, I was trying to think the word in English, the Anastasy service, that's for us is Saturday night right before Easter. We go to church at around 11 o'clock in the evening on Saturday night because we want to be there the minute, our liturgy starts the minute it turns over to be Easter Sunday morning, which would be 12:01 a.m. Is that right? Yeah. And so there is a tradition in which families bring a basket full of all the foods that they haven't eaten. So they'll bring these baskets filled with cheese and sausages and maybe different things that they've baked. We have certain traditional recipes that are made to be eaten at this time of year. And they'll bring it to church in a beautiful basket with one of these covers over it. This is more of a Russian, Romanian, Serbian tradition than it is a primarily Greek tradition. But I love the red and white embroidery. I just love red and white. And I started releasing these a couple of years ago and was amazed at the response. I had no idea how many people were looking for designs like this. So I decided that every year we're going to release one. Every year we'll do a Pasca Basket design. And this is this year's. And this year actually we're going to have 2 of them because I also designed another design for Just Cross Stitch magazine. And that will be releasing in their Easter issue, which is kind of fun. So it's another red and white design. That one we can release on the Avlea website, I think somewhere around late February. But I didn't want people to have to wait that long to get a Pasca Basket kit cover because, you know, it can take you a couple months to make this. Now, the one change is that we stitched this sample on the Legacy Linen Swan Feather. I'm completely out. So I will be offering this as a kit with the white Mickey fabric, which is the Greek mercerized cotton 30 count. Same exact thread count, little bit different finish, but also a great fabric for this. So that's the Pasca Basket cover. This was stitched by Maria. It's so beautiful. I did the drawn thread hemming, which is super fun. Beautiful thing you can do as an heirloom, give as a gift. These also make a lovely wedding gift for a young Orthodox couple who would have that tradition. So that's a really neat design. Next up, coming out, let's see, very soon, is Rosane. Now this is the design that I've talked about in the last couple of floss tubes. It's a tiny little motif of a little rosette that I found in a vintage needlework booklet. And I was so taken with it that I started playing around with it and like the negative space. And this is an amazing pattern. If you, and I'm going to offer it in 3 versions. There's going to be the bit kit. Okay. So that'll be the $22 bit kit. That's going to be offered in blue. Then it'll be offered in the square. And then it will be offered in the table runner size that was just featured in my Instagram a couple days ago. If you want to see that one, I forgot to grab it before I did the floss tube. And this one is stitched in 3787. It's like very dark brown gray, which is a really horrible color name. This feels to me like aged black. It's just a very cool color. I loved this piece. And I loved how you can totally mess around with the negative space. So if you want to play around, and I'm going to be offering this, but there's the square as a kit and the table runner size as a kit. But if you just really love this design and you want to play around with it yourself, it's a great stash buster because you can make little tiny things. So if you want to do that, the cheapest way to do that for those of you who are frugalistas, I would recommend that when this goes live, probably next month or maybe even January, I would recommend that you just get the $8 download of the bit kit because that's all you need. You just need this little guy and then you can decide how many rows of like extra, just plain lines, rows that you want to add to your design. This one has like 3. This one has 4 because it has the inner 3 and then it has an outer border. You could like add things to the outer border. It's just incredibly flexible as a pattern. And also stitches up really quick because it's not actually that many stitches. I can't remember how much this one is. And I loved it because the minute you got one design on, you're good to go. You don't even have to like refer to the pattern anymore except for just to figure out, okay, how many lines do I want? So this is just a really fabulous pattern. And the way it plays with negative space is just so cool because it creates this really cool octagon, but you're working like just these corners. So very, very cool. And I think what I'm going to be doing is in the table runner and the square, I'll offer 3 colors in the kits. I think I'm going to do that because it sounds like fun. And I think that some of you would want a different color depending on your decor. So the table runner and the table square will come in 930 dark antique blue. They'll come in the, what I like to call the aged black, even though DMC calls it brown gray. So boring. And then I'll offer it in the dark rosewood. Oh, still like my favorite color crush right now. So that's another design that'll be going live. It's a great one for meditative stitching and just really cool. I just had a lot of fun with this. I love the geometry of it. Then next up, one of the designs. Oh, I forgot to grab the other one. Where is it? I don't have it in front of me. Okay, I'll show it next month. This is a design I'm very excited about. It's Evangelion Border. And I think I showed it to you maybe partway last month, but now I've hemmed it. This is an incredible design. I love this design. I'm going to give you a close-up. Look at these super cool flowers. Isn't that just the coolest? And I've chosen kind of a really lovely, warm Mediterranean color palette. But you know, you could totally play around with the colors on this if you wanted different colors. It looks extremely colorful and complex. And I think there's actually only 6 colors in it, maybe 7. So it'd be pretty easy to switch things around. This I've actually designed as sort of like a table runner, but here's the cool thing about it. The reason I'm calling it Evangelion Border is Evangelos in Greek means good news, like the evangelists, okay? Same root word. If you are looking for a traditional Mediterranean folk design, but you want to do a design that allows you to put some sort of commemoration or saying or, you know, birth of a baby or something in it, you can do that right here. You got this nice big open space that you can mess around with. And what I may even do on this for people who want it, I may take this little bit of the design and I may even make it like as a free chart so that you have a chart to basically plot out your saying or something like that. So if people are interested in that, I was trying to figure out a way to do that because it'd be a little bit harder on the pattern because the full size pattern is too large. It's too small. It's going to be really hard for you to plot out. But I think that I might do like an auxiliary page or something that comes with it so that you can plot out a pattern or maybe a free chart. I'm not sure. I'll figure it out before I get it released. But I just love this design. I love the flowers. I love the energy. I love the scroll. I just love all of it. I mean, it would look amazing just as a table runner. You know, you can see that as a table runner with candles or an amazing vase of flowers in it. I love that it's just sort of, it's not quite as geometric as some of the other things that I work on, which the energy, just so like floral and stylized and beautiful. I love this one. So this will also be releasing in early 2022. Then I am working on a new, this one's very much in process, so stay with me, people. And I'm not sure that I'm going to continue with the traditional ground cloth on this. If I can get a linen sample, I will be working this on linen. But this is a design I have actually had in my design portfolio for a long, long time, like well over like a year and a half. And I wasn't feeling the love on the colors until I got the DMC Rosewood in. This is a design, it's going to be a new table runner design, and this one's called Arcadian Peony. And it's got this really fabulous leaf border. Hang on, let me see. Do I have the full-size chart here? I might. I do. Hey, yay. Okay, but it's got this I'm using a very warm color palette. This is the rosewood. This is the 3012. I think they call it medium khaki green. Again, not loving the names. I call it soft olive because it just sounds so much better. The 936 dark avocado green. This is the 927 gray green medium. And then the golden olive, 832 golden olive is sort of our gold for this design. And that one, just to give you an idea, this is my working chart with all my little notes and my notes to change symbols because I don't like the way I use the symbols on this one. This is what it'll look like at each end. And then this is what it'll look like when it's all made. This will be another table runner design like Mediterranean Floral or Avlea. Those always amaze me at how popular they are. It's kind of amazing to me that Mediterranean Floral was one of our very first designs, and it is still one of my top sellers. There's just something very compelling about these table runner designs with beautiful stylized florals. I think and the color palettes are so rich and beautiful. A lot of us can envision them in lots of different home settings. They're just really great designs. Very much stand the test of time, clearly, since these have been being used, these kind of designs, for hundreds and hundreds of years. What I'm waiting for, though, is linen. I'd really love, what my goal is to be able to have one of the table runner kits available at the same price point, but on the linen. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for. So we'll see. Stay tuned on that one. And then other than that, that's kind of our month here at Avlea. I just want to thank everybody. It's been really busy and really fun. Coming ahead, I'm also starting to think about my next trip to Greece. So that's really exciting. I have got some really great connections set up to be photographing traditional Prika designs, visiting some folk costume museums, things like that, which I'm very, very excited about. Oh my word, I'll probably come home and maybe my brain will just explode while I'm there. Who knows? Because it'll be so many patterns. But I think that's it for right now. Look for the wall hanging video that hopefully is going to be coming up soon. I'm still having a hard time doing videos myself. I don't have like a big professional video setup. It's just me and my sewing machine and my phone. And so I tried ordering this new light thing that holds my phone, and that should be here any day now. So I'm really hoping that'll help with some of my videography, because as you can tell, I'm not like super professional or glitzy or edited. We could just say hashtag no filter, okay? Because I just decided it wasn't worth waiting around until everything was perfect and professional and glitzy to like just get this knowledge out there and share that. So that's why everything is a little bit more sort of old school and not very professional around here in terms of video and content and things like that. I am kind of excited though. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys this. I met a friend of a friend who is super great at social media, and she is coming next week to help me and give me a little consult and help me learn how to do different things on social media. So I'm kind of excited about that. You know, I'm always having to learn new things. And it's kind of funny. It feels a little bit like as soon as I get one thing down, like I feel like this week I really am starting to nail the photography thing. I've got my new veneer boards and I'm starting to really understand the light and how to do some of the editing and blah, blah, blah. It's like, great. And then like, okay, wait, now I've got the opportunity to learn more with social media. So never a dull moment around here, but it's how I like it. You know, it keeps your brain from aging, and it keeps me from getting too set in my ways. And it keeps me also from getting too big for my britches. Because honestly, someone, you know, I'm like, well, I can make you an amazing custom tailored, you know, garment, you know, that's very fancy. And yet then I go and meet the social media girl and she's saying all these things and all these words are coming out of her mouth and I have no idea what she's talking about. And so it just keeps me humble. It's really, really good for me. And I like to be around people who are learning and who like know things. So I'm really looking forward to working with Vic on learning some of the social media. So I think that's us. That's another wrap for a FlossTube month of what's going on at Avlea. I just want to thank everyone. I feel like I just can't thank you guys enough. I get to basically play with embroidery and do designs every day, most days, because of you. And I'm so, so deeply grateful. This work just brings so much color and joy and life into my life. And I just want to thank you all. I'm very, very grateful for your support and for your enthusiasm and your kind emails and all of this. I really feel like Avlea has grown so much more beyond me, and it's becoming this like community of stitchers. Oh, I totally forgot to tell you about a super cool thing. You guys are gonna be the very first people to know because it's still kind of in the beta stages. I think that's what they say, although maybe I just used that word wrong. Who knows? I have an Avlea app. So you'll be the very first people to know because you were patient and you watched all the way to the end of the video. You get to know this. I won't launch it yet. We're not telling anybody about it yet, but it just went live a couple days ago. If you have Google Play or what's the Apple store, whatever that's called. Anyways, on your phone, the place you buy apps, that thing. If you go and type in Avlea, we now have an Avlea folk embroidery app. I am so excited about this because it means that if you buy a download pattern, and it's really funny. Okay, sorry to keep you here for another few minutes, but I have to tell you this. So I tried to get the app going with Wix. Wix is my website hosting. And my Wix agent came to me and was like, oh, you know, have you thought about an app? And I'm like, why would I want an app? I was all like super grandma old school. I don't need an app, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, Krista, he's very sweet. Nathan is my agent and he's very patient with me. It's like, well, you might want to consider it. There's some features, blah, blah, blah. And I thought about it and then I was like, oh, wait a second. Now I understand like what we could do with an app. Like how convenient would it be if all the how-to videos were just right there on your phone and it was super easy to access, which now they are. What if the courtyard feature, our new forums feature where you can like share your own stitching and ask other stitchers and you can see what everybody else is stitching? What if that's all on your phone? Convenient. And then I started seeing, oh wait, this could be a really cool thing. So we went through, I was like, then I was totally on board. Then I was like, okay, Nathan, let's do this. Let's go. Let's get it all running. We jumped through all the hoops, did all the bells and whistles, all the things. And then we got rejected because we have downloads. And I didn't realize that Apple wasn't allowing companies to have downloads. And so I thought, okay, timing wasn't meant to be. We'll just wait. And Nathan's like, okay, we'll just have to wait on this. You know, they're supposed to approve downloads in a few months. And then this past week, we get an email, you've been approved. So I told Nathan, and this is what I actually think, is that the power and the beauty of embroidery actually swayed Apple to release downloads. And so you can actually buy downloads on the Avlea app, which is super cool. And I tried it the other day because I was like, no, wait, can you really do this? And I tried it and oh my word, having the little pattern on your phone like that, kind of slick. So anyways, the other thing that I'm working with Wix to do on the Avlea app, and it was actually the main reason I decided to do the app, is I'm working with them to build a feature on the Avlea app that is essentially a stitch journal that is free of charge, so that you can basically have a place to store, like you can take a picture, you kind of keep a stitch log, because that's a really cool feature. Oftentimes when we know something about a historical textile, we know it because somebody made a note about it somewhere. It showed up in a will. It showed up in an assets list. It showed up because somebody wrote their name and pinned it in a piece of paper and sewed it into the piece. And so I think it's actually really important that we document our stitching. This is something that can help future generations. Plus, it's also just really good for us. You know, when we have a rough stitching week where we're like, this color didn't work, or I'm having trouble with the design, or I had to unpick like 3 million stitches. Go to your stitch journal and you're like, hey, look at all this stuff I've done. Look at this work of my hands that's going out into the world and creating beauty. So that's in the works with Wix. That'll probably be a few months. And believe me, when we have that, I will be telling everybody about it. But if you want to kind of get a sneak preview and be the first to know, you can just go download the Avlea app and it's right there. So anyways, I'm really glad I got to share that with you because I kind of forgot about it. I didn't even have it on my little notes of things to remind me about to talk about. So that's another month at Avlea. And thank you, thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sharing this time with me. And happy stitching.